Hey guys, welcome. Today I'll go over some basic things about Pocket Options for those of you who are not familiar with it. I'll show you how to set up all of the correct indicators, and then we'll do a little bit of trading just to see how they work, to demonstrate how it works. The specific strategy that's my favorite, that's simple, that I like to use is the Fractal plus SMA crossover. Which means we'll set up the fractal indicator and then two SMAs indicators. And then I also like to use the stochastic oscillator. And so here's how you set it up. So after you log into Pocket Options, up top here, you will see this little menu here that says indicators. So you want to click it and then click add the fractal and then click the moving average twice because we need two of those. And so for the fractal, click this little edit icon and change the period to 3. And then look at the styles and make sure that the up is green and the down is red. Once that's set, click Save. You should be all set. And then looking at the moving averages, all you need to do is one of them, set it up as period 3. And then you want to go to the styles and select that to be white. And then click the same edit button on the second one, change the period to 7. And for the styles, we can pick orange. Really any color that's easily visible. So I like to use orange here. For the width here, let's go with 3. So this is just the width of the line. And actually, I will do the same exact thing here. Oops. Actually, it's a little too thick. All we're doing is just making it easily visible for us. Okay. So those are the main indicators. One additional one that I like to use is the stochastic oscillator. And so that gets added at the bottom. And what this indicator shows you is whether any currency is overbought, which if it's above this 80% line, that means it's kind of overbought and it's getting ready to pretty much sell. And conversely, if it's at the 20% or below and it's getting ready to cross over, that's a good indicator that it's getting ready to go up the price, right? And so in combination with all of these, we can kind of determine which way it's going to go and whether we want to buy or sell any given currency. Okay. Now the fractal is this triangle here that it's either pointing up or down, and the moving averages are these lines here. So the white one and the orange one. You know what? I'm actually going to change this orange one to something else. Let's make it blue. Make it easier. And so that's how you set it up. The time period that we want to trade on is 1 minute, which means what that really means is when you enter a trade, it gives you 1 minute, and then if you choose buy, that means at the end of the 1 minute, if the price is above the price that you started with, then you win the trade. And if it's below, then you lose. But then if you enter a sell trade, you want to make sure that at the end of that 1 minute that the price is below your entry price, and that's how you win, right? So it's a very specific kind of a setup. It's not like traditional stocks or options where you buy and you can wait indefinitely. It's a very specific time limit. So that's why it's important to enter at the right time. And so we're going to use these indicators to help us identify the exact time when we enter the trade. And so the way we'll use this is what we're going to be looking for is if we want to enter a sell trade, we want to see a fractal printed green. And then we want the white line to cross over down from the blue one, right? And then as soon as that's confirmed, we're not going to enter on the first candle. We want the candle to close to confirm the crossover, and then we will enter the trade right at the beginning of the next candle. At the same time, an additional indicator that we want to use is the stochastic oscillator. We want to see these lines at the top, above, or at the 80% line. And we also want to see this crossover. So you want to see the blue crossover with the orange. That also tells us that, hey, it's overbought and it's getting ready to sell, right? Notice the crossover, it didn't actually move below the 80%, and so the price actually started going back up. You see, this is exactly why we don't enter at the moment when it's starting to cross over. We want to wait for it to confirm. So we want to wait until this candle right here closes to confirm the crossover, and then we would have entered on the next candle. But because this candle did not confirm the crossover, notice the white line kind of came, it was starting to cross over and then just pop back up. That's exactly what we want to avoid, right? And that's why it's really important to wait for the candle to close and then you enter on the next candle. Okay, so with that said, um, the I'm using, by the way, the time frames. So this is another kind of a part of the settings here. So the chart type and the time frame. The chart type, I'm using candles. You can use Heikin-Ashi. I don't really use any of that stuff, at least not for this strategy. Candles is the most basic one. And then the time frames, which is kind of these time frames right here that you see at the bottom, I'm using 1 minute because my entry time is 1 minute. I want to see what the candles are doing each minute. What selecting the 1 minute time frame does is it ensures that each candle is 1 minute. So I can see on a minute by minute basis what is it doing, and that helps me know when to enter the trade. Okay, feel free to post any questions that you have in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. But that is the gist of this strategy. So this is the setup. These are the indicators that you need. That's a quick explanation of how pocket options work. They're called binary options, which is really, again, you're not predicting the price or anything. You're just saying within the next 1 minute, is the price going to be above my entry or below? And you enter the trade accordingly. The amount I'm going to be starting with, since my starting balance is $10, I'll start with $2.50, and then we'll slowly increase as we get more wins that way. My goal will be just to double it. If I can get to 20, then that's a win. That's a 100% increase, which, if you're playing with larger amounts, then you can obviously make more money. So let's do it. So right now over here, these are called currency pairs. So AED, CNY. What that means is this is the currency pair of United Arab Emirates dirham and the Chinese yuan. So we're trying to see, okay, is the AED, how is it priced against the Chinese yuan? So you can see here, 1 AED equals 1.89 Chinese yuan, right? And we're just trying to see, is this going to go up or is it going to go down? So you can, over time, you'll find your favorite currency pairs that you like to trade. But for this strategy, I don't really care which currency pair I'm looking at. I'm just looking at the correct setup, right? And that setup is that I want to see the direction of the trade. I want to see the fractal printed, and I want to see I want to find the beginning of the crossover. So right in the beginning, when the white line crosses over with the blue line, and I'm going to enter the trade that way. Notice here, this is the exact area when the crossover happened. We would have normally waited for this candle to close and then enter right at the next candle, and you see the next candle close red as well. And so we would have won that trade. You want to try to enter at the beginning of the crossover as much as possible. Don't enter here, when the crossover has already happened, etc., because it can reverse anytime. You want to catch the beginning of the crossover. That's really important as well. So after that, what we're really doing is just, click through the different pairs and try to identify if there's a good setup. For example, this is a nice setup, although this would be against the trend. You see that the price is trending upwards, and you always want to trade with the trend. So trading with the trend would mean I would need to find an opportunity to buy, which means that the crossover would need to happen upwards. That means the white line would need to cross upwards with the blue line. But in this case, since it's crossing downwards, I don't really want to enter that because, again, that would be against the trade. That would mean I would have to take a sell trade when the price is actually going up. And so when the price is is going up, you want to take a buy trade, right? Because that's what it means to trade with a trend. That I'm actually, um, you know, predicting that the price will continue to move up. And so we'll just keep browsing through some of these pairs and see if we can find another opportunity. And this would have been a good one. We missed it, but that's okay. So this one is kind of all over the place. You can see it doesn't really have a clear direction. It kind of moves up and down. You get one green, one red candle, and so this isn't the type of trade that you want to enter. Really, it can't pick a direction. It's flat. It's trading within a channel. Eventually, it'll either break out up or down, but right now this is not not a trade that we want to enter. Another thing that you want to pay attention to is this payout. This tells you the ratio, right? So if you bet a $5 for this trade, it'll pay out. If you win, it'll pay out 92% of that $5. And so you really want to stick within the 90% plus payout range, because if you go lower here, you're essentially kind of betting higher amounts for a low payout, which is risky, right? Unless you see a really good trade, the risk to reward isn't there, right? And in this case, the reward is 92% of what I put in, which is good, which is what we want. Okay, this I will show you. We'll probably lose this one, but this is a risky trade because the trend isn't really up. It's a small trend up here, but overall you can see it's been coming down. But nonetheless, I will try this one. So if this candle ends up, confirming the crossover here, notice the white is crossing over from the blue. And then if the fractal prints on the next candle, I will enter a sell trade. Okay, so we have to be patient here. Wait the 14, 15 seconds here. Let's see if it finishes in the red. And then on the next candle, we should see a fractal somewhere here, and we'll enter the trade. There we go. Another tip is don't enter too many trades at the same time. I would suggest no more than one trade at a time. Um, it's just not recommended to enter multiple trades because you can't really track your own, like what you're doing, whether you made a mistake, whether you didn't, whether you're trading the right way, and you don't have time to adjust. And so do one trade at a time, and you should be good. Okay, so you guys saw I lost that one because although it was close, this is the reason I say trade it with the trend. And so you saw I traded against the trend, even though it's moving down. Um, I traded a buy. I entered excuse me, a buy trade. So um, let's see here. Actually, a sell trade. Okay. Yeah, I confused that. So it's actually a trend up. I entered a trade downwards, so it didn't work out for me. So I'll try to find one that actually does work. So this is a good example of a trend down. Um, you see it's kind of forming lower low, lower high, lower low, and probably a lower high. And so for this one, I don't know if this will cross over because the stochastic oscillator is kind of the bottom. Um, but that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that's trending down that I can enter a sell trade.
Guys, unfortunately, I'm not seeing any good trades. It is about 3 p.m. on a Friday afternoon, so the markets are really slow. We're not going to see too many opportunities, and so that's okay. We don't want to force a trade. We want to see a setup form, and if nothing comes up, then it's better not to trade. Otherwise, we're really just throwing money into the air. So for today, we'll kind of stop it there. I'm not going to take any trades. And then we'll come back at a different hour and see if there's any more opportunities. So with that, take care. Good luck trading. Let me know if you have any questions or if you'd like to see any other videos. And I'll see you next time. Bye.